केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ओम। We'll do दक्षिणामूर्ति स्तोत्रम now. मौन व्याख्या प्रकटित पर ब्रह्म तत्वं युवानम् वसिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलित चिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषन्नं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवन गुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जनन मरण दुःखच्छेद दक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वडतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशया निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषये भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशांताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम। विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकम् असत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भो निधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रघटोदरस्थितमहादीपप्रभाभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभाति ये तत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमास्मिति भ्रान्ता वृषंवादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहाव्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशो मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रकरणोपसंहरणतो यो भुक्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बाल्यादिष्वपि जागृदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तःस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव त्रिपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वा एष पुरुषो स्वप्ने जागृति वा एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये भूरम्भांस्यनलो नीलोम्बरम् अहर्नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशतां यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिन् स्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्धे तत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं चैश्वर्यमव्याहतम्। We'll do Gita Dhyanam. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय पुत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः गोप्दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनीं सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पतैरहरः पीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ विभूति योगो नाम दशमोऽध्यायः। We are entering chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, today is also Uttarayanam. So, on an auspicious day, we are entering Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, which will understand Vibhuti. Let's have a preliminary understanding of what we have studied so far. Let's have an understanding of what we have studied and then we'll proceed further. Ishvara, very often the word used in English translation for Srishti is creation, which is a very inappropriate translation. When you say create, it wasn't there, it has come out. Then it goes back into. So if you want to explain this phenomena, understand this phenomena, rather than call it a creation, call it a manifestation. From the seed, the apple manifests itself. We didn't create it. It manifested itself. Meaning it wasn't the seed in a potential form. And it manifested itself. So Srishti, if you need to translate it in English, the proper word should be manifestation. The second important aspect of Srishti is when there is a product. Okay? The product. Did somebody create it? Or did it appear like that? So when there is a product, there are two aspects for the product. One is the intelligent cause. The other is the material cause. You would have heard this many, many times, and we repeat it as often as possible so that it percolates into the system. The material cause is called Upadana Karanam. It is made of wood. Upadana Karanam. There is also an intelligent cause. The intelligent cause is called Nimitta Karanam. Now, in a product like the one I showed you, the Upadana Karanam is readily available, tangible, visible. The Nimitta Karanam is not available. It is away. But do you have any doubt that there was an intelligent cause? You know there was an intelligent cause. It's not available for your perception right now, but you don't doubt the existence of an intelligent cause. Srishti. Do you see a tangible Srishti in front of you? Yes. And what is the material of this Srishti? Ishwaras, we have seen in the previous chapters, Apara Prakriti, material, Maya. These, the Panchabhutas, we chanted the Dakshinamurti Stotram, in which we said, Bhurambam Senalo Nalo Nilombaram Aharanatho Himam Shuf Puman. These 8 factors are brought in this Srishti. So, the material Srishti is available in front of you. The Srishti that you see is put together. It's an assembly. It is put together. Not only is it put together, it is put together intelligently. Let's take simple our hand, for example. One part flexible. So if you have to come have a cup of tea, now suppose I had an extra joint here. Here, my Swami used to tell us a story. He says he was once imagining, what if the nose were here? Then you will have no problem about passive smoking and things like that. Then he says, I was comfortable with this thought till somebody gave him a cup of tea. Now here the nose is beautifully placed. You can smell and see whether it is coffee, tea or something. Now suppose it were placed here. You'll have to take it and smell it there. And the nose being placed upwards, you may have to pour something into your nose. For drinking a cup of tea, you don't have to pour something into your nose. Said in jest. But if you see the way the Srishti, you don't have to go for anything else. Look at your own body. The whole thing is structured intelligently. If the eyes were a millimeter apart, our vision will be totally different. That's why, you are specialist for each part of the body. You have a, what do they call it? ENT. Yeah. The technical name? Rhino, auto, laryngologist. So somebody knows more about the throat. Somebody knows more about the ear. The way things are going, somebody will specialize in the right ear, another fellow will look at the left ear. But of course, charge you for 2 different tests and things like that. So, it's intelligently put together. And because intelligently put together, you can study the phenomenon. Because there is an order there. There is a law there. And when something is intelligently put together, it means you have to presuppose intelligence. And intelligence has to rest on a conscious being. Therefore, the nimitta karanam, the intelligent cause of universe, is a conscious being. And the material being there, there is also upadana karanam, the material cause of universe. Now, suppose the intelligent cause were not available, like in the case of the wooden square I showed you. The intelligent cause is available elsewhere, and the material cause available elsewhere. Now, the intelligent cause wants to create something. The material says, there's a strike in my factory, I won't supply. you have a problem. Therefore, the teaching comes and reveals a unique phenomenon. It's unique, okay, not unheard of. You just have to look at it. The teaching comes and says, the Srishti is the Srishti Karta, because there is a Srishti, there must be a Srishti Karta. There must be a maker. The Srishti Karta is both the intelligent and material cause of creation. Not only is both, he is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. He is the non-separate, intelligent and material cause of Srishti. Is it possible? The Shastras explain to you from one of the Upanishads, Yatha Urnanabhi Srijate Grinnate Cha. Urnanabhi is a spider. It creates a web out of itself. Unto itself, it takes the web back. And it's an intelligent cause. So the intelligent cause and the material cause are in the same locus in a spider. Let's take you and me. Your dream, who's the intelligent cause? Who's the material cause? So my dream, I am both the intelligent and the material cause. The Upanishad then comes and gives a third example. It says, Kesha Lomani. It is from me and I am the intelligent cause. So, there are three examples given of Srishti and, the Upadana and the material cause being in the same locus. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. And in the chapter 7 and chapter 9, as we study more and more, we get more and more clarity. And this section in particular, that is the second 6 chapters, Madhyama Shatkam in particular, highlights Upasana. Okay. Upasana is different from puja. You have to understand very, very clearly. Upasana is very different from puja. You can't say, I'm doing Ishvara Upasana and say, Sumakaya Nama, Ekadantaya Nama. That's not Upasana. Upasana is a certain manasa vyapara. It is a manasa vyapara where you perhaps sit at a place at a selected time and take recourse to what you have, your Shravana and your Manana, and you do Upasana in the form of you see the teaching. Ekadantaya Namaha. So there is a Ganapati. He has got one Danta. The other Danta is broken. You can recall the story related to that. You can go and explore the Tattva behind that. So, chapter 7, this section is Upasana. And Upasana is a preparatory sadhana for Jnana. And Ishvara Upasana, meaning Aham was properly explained to us in the first 6 chapters. The second 6 chapters, Madhyama Shatkam, explains the Jagat and the reason for the Jagat. And this has to be understood very clearly. Now, when we are highlighting on the Upadana Karanam, I want to know, you say this entire Srishti is me, Ishvara. How do I recognize it? How do I relate to that? How do I relate? Here there's no problem. I showed you a product, you are able to relate to it. But how do I relate to the whole? So this chapter in particular highlights certain glorious aspects of the material cause so that you are relating, okay, this is glorious, this is Ishvara. This is expression of Ishvara's glory in a particular phenomena. That's why it's called Vibhuti. Now going a little further, how do you relate to this chapter? How is this chapter one is supposed to relate? And in chapter 7 and chapter 9, the teacher said, I will give you a complete knowledge, because if you know only Upadana Karana, you are going to have problems. If you know only Nimitta Karana, you're not going to be able to relate. You need to know both of them together. Samagram, you have to know. That was highlighted in 7 and in 9. You have to know and have the complete picture. So, in this complete picture, how do I relate? I start with Ekarupa Saguna Ishvara Upasana. I take a Pratima or a Pratika with all gunas. Is Neela Megha, Shama color, Rishikesha curly hair, he has got Makara Kundala, he has got a flute, he wears Pitambara. If he wants, he can lift, with his little finger, he can lift a giri, he can wield the Sudarshana Chakra. So you look at Ekarupa Ishvara and pour your bhakti onto the Ishvara, try to relate. Now here, the Ekarupa, you grow beyond the Ekarupa Ishvara and you are looking at a Vishwarupa Ishvara. When you are looking at the Vishwarupa Ishvara, when you say Vishwarupa, it's a total vision. It's a total vision. Total vision is difficult to digest. Therefore, they start with vision of the glory. Let's look at the glorious aspects of Srishti. From there, let's go to the total aspect of Srishti. Okay. Now, let's look at this a little more. Now, when I play with this product. So, steel plate. Okay. This is called available for my touch senses. I can see it, feel, smell it. This is called Pratyaksham. Okay. Now somebody made this. What some steel company would have made it. Some maybe Jindal, whatever. Some steel company made it. Is he available? So I have to know him, that intelligent cause, through some other means. Operating another means. This is Pratyaksham. I have to use another means of knowledge, that is called Paroksha Jnanam. Paroksha means I operate a certain assumption and then I have to see the product, see the person. Oh, then I relate. It's called Par. This is called Pratyaksha. And by operating some other means of knowledge, when I come to know, it is called Paroksha Jnanam, indirect knowledge. Pratyaksha is direct knowledge. Direct knowledge, and that is indirect knowledge. Now, is the Srishti Ekarupa Ishvara, Krishna, Muruga, whatever? See, you need a lot of guts to handle this section. Okay, you should handle it very carefully, and one should be able to relate when that you can understand the Veda Parampara mindset very carefully. Now, this Ekarupa Krishna, which you see in front of you, the form of an idol, is it Pratyaksha or is it Paroksha? We are all looking for a Paroksha Srishti Karta. There is a Srishti. The Srishti Karta is somewhere. I am looking for it. I have concluded he is not here. I put him up. That's why, why don't you look at me? It needs a lot of courage to handle this. We are looking for Paroksha Ishvara. That's why very often, some bhaktas come and tell us, for him, Krishna is Pratyaksham. That means Krishna comes to his house, eats with him, talks to him. There are still some people like that. Long ago, when I was a teenager, in Chennai, there is a place called coral merchant street. I met a person there, a Siddha there. And there you will have to say that I have this problem and I want a solution. That gentleman will close his eyes and he'll call out, Krishna, Mohan has come to see me. He is talking about these problems. Do you think it can be solved? Ah, okay, okay. And then he'll speak to you. So it's pratyaksha. For whom? For him. Not for you. For him, you continue to have paroksha. That's why very often after we study Gita, after we study Upasana Yoga, you will come and ask him a question. How do I practice this? Because you are looking for what you have got is paroksha jnanam and you want to convert it into pratyaksha jnanam. So this is one thing we have to understand. You know what is jnana yoga? Jnana yoga says, if something is paroksha, okay, away from you, okay, first let's say pratyaksha or slightly technical. Something is pratyaksha. This is pratyaksha for me. Different for me, different from me, an object of my knowledge. So suppose I am taking this session and Bhagavan Krishna says, I want to check what you are teaching. Are you teaching Gita properly? And he comes and sits here. That Krishna is pratyaksha. Different from me. Different from me. I am the subject and Krishna is object. And what is the nature of an object? Mithya vastu, jada vastu. You have converted Krishna to jada vastu. That's why beyond a point, we are afraid to make an inquiry. You will come to an inquiry. Then Krishna is jada vastu. How can Krishna be jada vastu? This is wrong, or maybe teacher is wrong, or maybe he doesn't know how to teach. So it needs to be tackled carefully. And I have, though one is the search for the Paroksha Ishvara, the other is the search for the Pratyaksha Ishvara. In Jnana Yoga, before we come to Jnana Yoga, in chapter 10, the teaching comes and tells you, the Shastras come and tell you, that the Srishti that you see in front of you is Ishvara's material cause. Now, this is made out of leather, I don't know, maybe leather, or whatever. This is made out of some material. It's a nice looking diary made out of some material. Now, where is the material in this diary? Here, here. It is all over the place. So in this chapter, the teacher is going to tell you, being the material cause of Srishti, the material inheres in the Srishti. The Upadana Karanam, the cause, inheres in the Karyam. The material, the Karanam, can never be away from the Karyam. Cotton can never be away from this. So if you want to see Pratyaksha Ishvara, how will you see? You have to learn to see Ishvara's presence in the Karyam Jagat. What is available in front of you is Ishvara's material. Okay, the product that you see is the Karyam appearing to you in a different form. We have to learn to see Ishvara there. And learning to see Ishvara in Ishvara's presence in this Srishti requires a certain preparation. The preparation starts with bhakti, Ekarupa bhakti. Can you see that Ekarupa Ishvara everywhere? You can. Okay. Suppose there was somebody with whom Well, there are people, so fond of somebody. So let's use the word. In love with somebody. They say in Hindi, na, sote, jagte, khate, pite, utte, baithte. That person dominates your thoughts. That person's vision, whatever you say, relates to him. So you're emotionally so attached to that person. That means, using a word, you see everything in that person. You see all the gunas in the person. You see the person as glorious. It starts with Ekarupa. From the Ekarupa, you expand and see, you see him, Aneka Rupa Ishvara. And while seeing the Aneka Rupa Ishvara in this extraordinary, when we chant the Vishwara, the Dakshinamurti Stotram, we use the word Vishwam. Vishwam means Vividha Pratyaya Gamyam. That which is manifested in various forms, not just various uncountable forms. So that manifestation. So in this manifestation, I see Ishvara. And while seeing this Ishvara, you suddenly don't jump. You go to the next from Ekarupa, you go to the Vishwarupa. Before you see the total Vishwarupa, you see the glory, the glorious manifestation first. You see what is good about it first. You see the positives first and then go to the total. We don't say negative. We see the total expression later. That is, they say, I'm fond of so and so. And when I'm fond of so and so, I see only the positives. Then something happens. Okay? Like in Tamil Nadu, there's an pepe happens. Then what you see? You also see the negative side. And then a few years go, then you see only the negative side. And then you call it this samsara. So suppose you saw both the sides, what will you do? We will leave that conclusion. So, but seeing both the sides right at the beginning is not easy. It requires a lot of maturity. So we go from Ekarupa to positives of the Vishwarupa. So we call it Vibhuti. And then when we go to chapter 12, we'll see the total Rupa, which is called Vishwarupa, 11 and 12. 10, 11, and 12 we will say how to relate to 7, 9, 10, and 11. 8 is, it's offbeat subject, so we don't know how to relate to it. In 12 we'll see. Okay. So with this background, let's enter chapter 10. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shruну me paramam vachah Shrunu me paramam vachah. Whole line. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachah. Once more. Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachah Yatte ham priyamanaya Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshami hita kamyaya Vakshami hita kamyaya. Whole line. Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshami hita kamyaya. Once more. Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshami hita kamyaya. Whole verse. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachah Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshami hita kamyaya. Once more. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachah Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshyami hita kamyaya. So, hey Mahabaho, hey Arjuna, he is addressing Arjuna. He addresses Arjuna in a different manner. One place he says Kaunteya, he says Dhananjaya, and Mahabaho, Bharata Rishabha, and Kaunteya, Mahabaho, so many places. In particular, here he says Mahabaho. He is Mahabaho here says, you are not just an ordinary fellow. You are a accomplished warrior. He is a warrior. Those days, there were, the weapons were of two types. Astra, Shastra. Astra is flung. Shastra, hold it, fight. So either he was an Astra expert or a Shastra expert. Arjuna was good in both. He was a very good sportsman and archery participant. So a highly qualified fellow. So let's say I go and ask Swamiji, our teacher, some questions. And I say, I want to understand this. I want to understand this. How does this work, Swamiji? So the teacher addresses me and says, it's something like, oh, oh, MBA from IIM. Among IIM, so you are a person of a certain caliber. You are an accomplished person. You are an intelligent person. Otherwise, you wouldn't have survived 9 chapters. You are not only a guy who is good in your earthly and other kinds of materialistic pursuits, you are also good in this pursuit, because otherwise you would have never survived 9 chapters. You would have run away by now. So, hey Mahabaho, Shrunu, Bhuya, once again, okay, from me, okay, Paramam Vachaha Shrunu. Previously he described it as Raja Vidya, Raja Gukhya Yoga, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. He said all these words. I am going to give you a different view of the same thing which I taught in 7 and 9, so that your understanding is better. So, Paramam Vachaha, what is said in the Shastra, what is said in all this, I am going to give you. Paramam Vachaha. Yat Aham Te Priya Manaya. Okay. I don't give it to everybody. Okay. Yeah. You are dear to me. You are a good student. The good student deserves to be taught, certain subtle things. So imagine you go to a teacher and you learn and learn and learn. They say, practice, especially music. They'll say, practice this, practice this, practice this. You'll say, when is my teacher going to give me a chance to sing in this? Then one fine day he'll say, hey, come sit here. I'm going on USA tour for so many days. These new people you teach. So that means he is recognized, the teacher here, Krishna, is recognizing Arjun as a dear one. Not a dear one because he presses his feet and sings lullabies to make him sleep. He is a dear one because he has been not only listening to him carefully, he is making an effort to understand. The questions that he has asked in each of these chapters show a highly intelligent person who is carefully listening to what the teacher says and explaining and asking questions, trying to comprehend. I would like to have this clarified. Okay. Again, a Priyamanaya student, how does he think? There could be something said in chapter 1, contradicted later. In which case, the student will not say, the Priyamanaya student will not say, sir, you said like this there, you said like this here. You are confusing me. Arjuna also said the same. He said, as though confusing. Vyamishrene vakyena Buddhim mohayasiva me. You are as though confusing me. Perhaps you are throwing riddles so that I could understand it better. So that I could understand it better. Buddhim. Tat ekam vada nischitya. Tell me one which is good for me. Tat ekam vada nischitya, which is shreyas. He asked much earlier in chapter 3. So now he says, I am going to give you a detailed presentation. Paramam vachaha. And oh Priya, oh the good one, oh student, who a dear one, Hita Kamyaya. I am going to give this to you so that you understand it very well. It is for your understanding that I am going to explain this to you. So a teacher, an evolved, explains to the evolved student how to understand certain issues. Hita Kamyaya. And he says, okay, what is the source? Now here, Krishna from Vasudeva Krishna is no longer that Pratyaksha Krishna. The Krishna has what do you call assumed a very big rupam there, and that rupam is Bhagavan, the teacher. Teacher himself, the Bhagavan himself has come as the teacher. And he says, let's look at verse number 2. Name vidussuraganaha. Name vidussuraganaha. Prabhavam namaharshayah. Prabhavam namaharshayah. Name vidussuraganaha. Prabhavam namaharshayah. Name vidussuraganaha. Prabhavam namaharshayah. Ahamadirhi devanam. Ahamadirhi devanam. Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Whole line. Ahamadirhi devanam. Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Whole verse. Name vidussuraganaha. Prabhavam namaharshayah. Ahamadirhi devanam. Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Once more. Name vidussuraganaha. Prabhavam cha maharshayah. Ahamadirhi devanam. Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Okay. Name vidu suraganaha. Just as there are human beings, there are other beings. Suragana. It's an order. It's a life form. Suragana. Yeah, other life form. We'll understand it better. Another life form with a different body. See, you have seen movie, a lot of what is it? Sci-fi movies. Okay? Something lands from space. Something comes out of that. How does it look like? Huge eyes, big ears, the funny mouth, and then spitting fire and destroying all. Isn't it? There's some imagination. So he says, you have in this human form a certain intellect, a certain faculty of learning, which helps you do some original study of this phenomenon. You see a material world. In this material world, you have studied certain things and studied it properly. Now tell me, was the law of gravity created by Isaac Newton? Was it not there before? Before Isaac Newton were apples flying in the air. So the phenomena was always there, and Isaac Newton tuned into this phenomena. So such a person is called a rishi. A rishi is a person who has a vision. So Maharshi is a person who not just has a vision into the material aspect who has a vision beyond the material aspect. It is revealed to him. He didn't create anything. Similarly, the Suraganas, who are a different order of being, live in another loka where I and you in this body do not have access. They don't have access to our lokas, but they have access, all of them have access to Bhagavan. And he says, a lot of people in this say in this earth is not possible. Okay, even in any other loka, maybe Suragana are from a different loka, Maharshis are from your yoga loka. So even these people do not know me. Very important word here, know me. How do you gather knowledge? So either you have what is called, you see, it is called Pratyaksha Pramana. Then you have Paroksha. Paroksha means Anumana, you assume things. That is, you infer things. Then Arthapatti, you assume things. Then you have heard things, Shabda, you have heard things. Do any of these methods of learning work for knowing Ishvara? It is revealed knowledge for which Shastra, as operated by the Guru, is the Pramana. It's a Pramana. Pramana here means a valid means of knowledge, an independently valid means of knowledge. So he says, to know Ishvara Swarupam as Upadana Karanam, after listening to the Shastras, do you have to do something else? Laboratory experiment? Even doing the laboratory experiment, you have to see that the instrument which you are using is also Ishvara, is its manifestation. If there is an order there, there's a small prism-like thing which expands, which we know, which what do you get, which expands what you see there, and so that you can see it more particularly. You are able to see it in a microscopic manner. There also a law operates. So you have to use what is called a certain, you have to have a pramana, and the pramana is, na me vidu, ordinary people don't know me. You must have the appropriate shraddha, you must have the appropriate preparation. More importantly, there should be a teacher to reveal it to you. So, name viduhu suraganaha prabhavam. Okay, prabhavam. That means, may prabhavam, the secret of the way I manifest myself. The secret of manifestation, how it has come about. Okay, this prabhavam plus the various plays of the whole thing, it's not easy to understand. Even suras, maharshis, mighty intellects have not understood me properly. Okay? Acha. Acha. Then, na suraganaha. Suragana here means devata. We said devatas are there and maharshis are included here. Then he says, what is my nature? What is my nature? He here is means therefore, because, karana. Aham sarvashaha devanam maharshinam adi. I am the one who is the Srishti Karta of all these people. This is created. No? It is like this diary trying to know the leather or whatever, Rexin. Leather cannot know because, know in what fashion? In a pratyaksha manner, because I am the one who created the diary. Meaning, I am the one who manifests as diary. I manifest in these people. It is even earlier. I am Adihi. Aham Adihi. I am the very beginning. Adihi also means another meaning here, while it says it is beginning. I am the beginningless beginning. So when you say I am the beginning, okay, when did you begin? So yeah. Beginning, source means where is the source? Yeah, I am the source means beginningless beginning. Causeless cause. I am the cause of everything. I would like to know the cause. I am the causeless cause. Aham Adi. Therefore, knowing me is not an easy job. So, all of our students, we have to understand there is a common thought. Very often, I've heard it in very many places. After completing 18 chapters, I've studied the Bhagavad Gita 18 chapters. Now, how to practice it? The teacher will possibly break down and cry. What is the practice required, man? You have to assimilate it and work on it. You have to live the life that is indicated there. What is that to practice? Is it law, accountancy? There is the knowledge of knowledge and how knowledge works. It has to percolate into you. And how do you practice? Your life has to be a reflection of this knowledge. Knowing something, if you are not true to that knowledge, it means you have not understood it at all. So this is the subtle aspect of the whole thing that it's going to be revealed. Let's do one more verse. Yeah, we still have it. Yo mam ajamanadim cha yo mam ajamanadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram vetti lokamaheshwaram. Whole line. Yo mam ajamanadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram. Once more. Yo mam ajamanadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram. Asammoodasamartheshu sarvapapai pramuchyate. Sarvapapai pramuchyate. Whole verse. Yo mam ajamanadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammoodasamartheshu sarvapapai pramuchyate. Once more. Yo mam ajamanadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammoodasamartheshu sarvapapai pramuchyate. Okay. Martyeshu. Martyeshu here means the mortals. Okay. So among the mortals, asammudha, one who has clarity here. So first qualification, clarity is needed. What clarity you need? An understanding. You need a certain understanding. You can never see Ishvara Pratyaksha. You can never see Ishvara, Ekarupa Ishvara in this Pratyaksha form. What you see as Srishti, you have to learn to see Ishvara's Upadana Karanam as Ishvara himself. This body, Ishvara. Therefore, Ilakam. This body, Ishvara. So even after the life goes, treat it with respect and cream. You don't kick a dead body, do you? The whole thing, Srishti, is Pujaniyam. This is built into our Vedic system. If somebody gives you something, gives you a pen or something, what will you do with that? Put it first in your puja room. Next day, start writing. And what's the first word you write? Om. Or Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Something like that. Pujaniya Bhava is growing into you. He says, inquire into it. You have to inquire into it. So such a person is an asammudha. Asammudha means one who has bhakti and who is also receptive to what that upasana. Upasana is the inquiry that's going to happen, that's going to be revealed to you. And what's going to be revealed to you? It is going to be revealed to you that aham, one who, that is mom, ajam. Ajam means I am unborn. I don't, there's a lot of questions. Funny, 22nd it's going to happen, somebody says. Is Rama and Bhagavan or Manushya? If he is Bhagavan, how is he having a birthday? If he has a birthday, is he Manushya? If he is Manushya, why does a Manushya need Koil? This is an argument given by Asad. You ask him back the same question about whatever faith he is following. He follows some faith. You ask him that. So you are whatever you are following. Is it human or not? And then why do you celebrate such and such a date? They have no answer. They will immediately take up stones and throw it. The problem. Asammuda. Asammuda even will not even get into this argument. If somebody argues, ignore and walk away. Don't give his YouTube videos 100 million views and increase his mileage. So, Mom Ajam, I am the costless cause. Is there a costless cause? Which we will come examine in the coming session. But is there a costless cause? Let's do a basic inquiry and think on it further. You know the present right now. You also know that you are awake and things like that. You know you were born on such and such a date. You had a certain childhood. And you were, let's say, born on some date. Suppose I asked you the question, where were you before that? And tell you, I was in my gestation in my mummy's womb. Where were you before that? Where were you even before your mother was born? कहाँ से टपक गया क्या? Did you fall like a cherry from somewhere? That means you were unmanifest and that manifested itself. And there will be a time when you will go back into the unmanifest. Wait. Who says I was unmanifest? Who says I will go back into the unmanifest? There is a being, a conscious being. When was this conscious being born? So let's say this conscious being was born on the 1st of January, beginning of Kali Yuga. Who says that this conscious being was born on the 1st of January or whatever be the date during Kali Yuga? So there is another being there. So the conscious, awareful being is beginningless. You would have read in some of the earlier chapters, na sato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyase satah, ubhayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayor tattva darshibhi is bringing you back here. He says, hey, asammuda, understand I taught you earlier. The Sattvastu, the conscious being, was never absent. And I am that. Aham Adi. Aham Ajam. Okay. I am Adi at the same time Anadi. I am the beginningless beginning, causeless cause. And I am Loka Maheshwaram. I express myself, I manifest myself as the Loka and sustain it. It's not that I've created Abai Tumari Bai, it's all your headache now, I leave. And you have to come searching for me for nothing like you don't have to. Yeah. I've created, thrown you, come looking for me elsewhere. And there will be one fellow who is called himself a Messiah and tell you, I will bring you there. A Savior will save me and bring you there. Because God has abandoned. He says, I am a Loka Maheshwara. Even if you don't want me, I am there to protect. Tell me there is no God, I am still there to protect. Veti, one who knows this among you mortals. Okay. He is Sarva Papai Vimuchyate. Papa here is, what was the Papa in chapter 2 that was introduced? Asocyan anvasochastvam. Your sorrow comes because of this non-understanding. And that is the root cause of all the papa. Sarva papaihi, from a root I will remove. Sarva papaihi vimuchyate. Oh, so among you mortals, yeah, all of you here are asammodhas. They have been with me for 9 chapters. You all come 50%. Asammodha. And we have been studying for 3 years now. Asammodha, listen to me carefully. I am going to unfold something to you, listening to which, knowing which, you will be free from dukkha. Assurance Krishna gives you. We will follow it up in our next session. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalinim desho yam chobarahitah brahmana santu nirbhaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हो। स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो। पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो। बजरंग बली की जय हो। जय हो। For all the people who are listening to this, to ensure that it transforms you. There is no point in listening into academic. It should bring about a change. Because the Vedas come and tell you, Aham Brahmasmi. You are the conscious being. No point in saying, oh, they say I am a conscious being. You are. And for that realization to happen, for that to percolate, it is for this purpose that we record and put it in YouTube with the support of Asudha, Prakash, and our young friend Ramesh here. With their support, we put it on YouTube. I would suggest all this is available as a link in YouTube. I suggest please listen to this. Keep the book open, keep the chapter open, see the chanting, see the meaning. That's why I give you word by word what it means, trying to give you examples. Read the meaning. Before you come to the next session, try to read it a few more times, try to listen to it a few more times, reflect on it a few more times, make it your knowledge. And not me, the Srishti Parampara, the Guru Parampara, Ishvara assures it will work. So have a wonderful Monday. We will meet again next. Oh, people who want to do meditation. Sir, yeah.
एक कहानी मुझे बतानी है आपको सर regarding this अप्रत्यक्ष अपरोक्ष अनुभूति अनुभूति अभी क्या है जैसे कि everybody has got a question कि भाई भगवान कहाँ है, दिखते तो नहीं है ना? So we know that he is everywhere, but you know it is very difficult for some people to explain when somebody. So it is अकबर बीरबल की कहानी है, बीरबल अकबर वाली कहानी है। एक बार अकबर जानना चाहते हैं कि भाई भगवान कहाँ रहते हैं, तो बीरबल से प्रश्न करते हैं। तो बीरबल भी खुद कंफ्यूज हो जाता है कि मैं ये राजा को किस तरह बताऊं। तो वो एक दिन की मोहलत देके घर छोटा मुंह बना के घर जाता है और राजा से कहता है कि मैं कल इसका उत्तर दूंगा। तो घर जब पहुंचता है तो उसके बेटे पूछता है, अरे क्या आज क्या बात है, आपका मुंह इतना उतरा हुआ, क्या कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया क्या? तो वो कहते हैं कि अकबर बादशाह ने पूछा कि भगवान कहाँ रहते हैं, मुझे बताओ, उन्हें कैसे पा सकते हैं और उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए, और भगवान है अगर तो क्या करता है हमारे लिए। तो बेटा बता रहे इतनी सी बात है तो चलो कल मैं दरबार में आता हूँ और मैं राजा से इसका जवाब दूंगा। तब जब वो राजा के समक्ष जाता है तो राजा को बोलता है पहले एक कप है ना मीठा दूध मंगाओ। तो मीठा दूध मंगाते हैं राजा, तो दूध पीने को बोलते हैं राजा को। तो राजा दूध पीता है, पूछता है वो कि दूध कैसा था? तो वो राजा कहता है कि दूध मीठा था। तो अच्छा, तो मीठा था, दूध में शक्कर थी? तो बोलते हैं हाँ शक्कर थी, मीठा था। तो आपको दिखती है शक्कर? तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, शक्कर तो नहीं दिखती है, लेकिन वो तो घुल मिल गई है उसमें, दूध में। तो वो बोलते हैं बस इसी तरह जो भगवान है हर चीज में गुला मुला हुआ है और हमको दिखाई नहीं देता है। तो बस इतनी सी बात है जो हम लोगों को समझ में नहीं आती है कि ही इज एवरीवेयर। जिस तरह शक्कर दूध में घुल गई है और हमें दिखती नहीं है, इसी तरह भगवान सब जगह है। तो वो
that
बोलते हैं अच्छा ठीक है,
drishtanta,
अच्छा मैं,
yeah,
हाँ,
that drishtanta has to be used, and then people have to understand appropriately.
यस
Thank you,
यस।
Sarojji. Thank you very much.
ओके ओके, थैंक यू सर।
We'll catch you all next. Thank you.
थैंक यू।
Oh.
Thank you.